Visnja, and I didn't ask her how to pronounce her last name, Visnja Zeljeznjak. I'll ask her when she comes on here really quick. But before we get started, quick intro. This is Nimdzi Insights. We do market research and consulting for the language services industry and beyond. If this is your first time joining us, then welcome. We do these live streams as pop-up events, meaning that they are not announced, they are not marketed. We just go live when we go live. So if you are lucky enough to catch this live, then please join us in the comments. All of your comments, we try our best to respond to everybody up on stream. So that's the way to interact with us, ask questions, provide comments, share your experience, or add some value. If you are not subscribed to Nimdzi Insights, then I would recommend you to do so. Why? Because that's the only way that you're going to get notified of these pop-up events as they come out. We are live on Facebook, not Instagram, actually. I should probably fix that Instagram thing. We are live on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and YouTube right now. So welcome and thank you for subscribing. With that, I'd like to introduce you to Visnja, who will now correct me on the pronunciation of her last name.
Hi, Tucker. Thank you for having me, for inviting me. Yeah, so my first name, Visnja, is already hard enough. So my last name, Zeljeznjak, I didn't want to bother you with.
I'm not going to try that one. I'm sorry.
No, please don't.
I'm sorry.
If you call me Visnja, that's just fine. So everybody calls me Visnja. That's from abroad. I mean, from outside of Croatia, where I'm from. So
whereabouts in Croatia are you located?
I'm in Rijeka. This is the third largest city in Croatia. It's a coastal city. Yeah. It's also a port city.
Well, you guys are kind of coast hogs over there. I've seen the map, right? You're like, yeah, I'll take that coastline.
Yeah, and we have like 1,000 islands, so you can choose where you want to, have your vacation. And this is something that's brandable, very brandable. So the islands, the coast, it's very nice.
Yeah, my one experience in Croatia is the Dubrovnik. I was at an Aliyah conference in Dubrovnik, and I took my wife, got a babysitter, took my wife, and it was marvelous. It was so beautiful there. Oh my gosh.
The famous King's Landing, where Game of Thrones was.
Yeah, but I've never actually seen Game of Thrones, so.
Oh, you're one of those people.
I know. No, I'm not one of those people. I would very, 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 very much like Game of Thrones. And the reason I haven't seen it is because if I start watching it now, you're not going to see me for 2 weeks because I'm just going to be locked in my room watching Game of Thrones. But
I know. I just binged on Outlander. That's a Netflix series, and I didn't do anything productive for like 3 weeks. And I know what you're saying. And please don't watch 8 seasons of Game of Thrones, especially when I know how it ends.
Yeah, well, I know how it ends too. But we're not here to talk about Game of Thrones. So let me give a quick intro of why I have you on the show. And I found Visnja because I don't know how I found, just on LinkedIn or something. I saw that she had a podcast that she was doing very much to like what I'm doing here. And it is a Croatian language podcast, and it piqued my interest because that is, most podcasts out there are in English, and I kind of wanted to talk to you firsthand to understand what's it all about and why Croatian language, what's the advantage of that. And the reason, just to provide some background, why it interests me is because like my hypothesis, if you will, is that as we get more and more connected through globalization, the true sense of the word globalization, that there's going to be more and more appetite for local language content. User, listener, audience, whatever you want to call it, expectations are changing and they're increasing over time. And I think that it's opening up new opportunities for folks like you to capitalize on that. So that's what I found interesting about it. And that's why I wanted to have you on today. Tell us a little bit about it.
Sure. So the reason why I wanted to start a Croatian video podcast, is because my actual audience is mostly in Croatia. I do have an English-facing website, but I also have a Croatian-facing website. And the reason is because people in Croatia already know me. And given that I'm in B2B, I'm a website consultant and I work with IT companies and tech companies. I help them plan their websites and make them more and improve them from sales and marketing perspective. So the reason why I started a podcast is because I don't have to have a huge audience to have early wins. At least that was my hypothesis when I started.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to explore whether Croatians and Croatian companies, my potential clients, wanted to use video, which is not very widely used in Croatia.
Mm-hmm.
If they wanted to see videos and watch videos to learn about B2B marketing, tactics, strategy. And I can tell you that using LinkedIn and using video and combining it in one nice package,
Right.
I didn't have to wait very long. I got the first results in like 2 or 3 months, actually. So
Really?
yeah, really.
Really?
So when I say results, I mean like leads, new clients, and people noticing me, people who have long forgotten about me started to contact me. So that was actually when that was during 2020, during the pandemic.
Yeah.
It was a huge success for me personally.
Well, congratulations. I mean, I've had similar, like you and I have kind of been doing this the same amount of time, actually. And I was talking to you for 5 minutes beforehand. You mentioned like you started off doing short videos and video marketing, and then you moved into the podcast. And there needs to be a better name for it because podcasts are audio, and what you do is not audio.
No.
It's recorded just like this. And I'm sure if I had found your video cast earlier, you would have been an inspiration for Nimdzi Live because I was out there looking at all of these things. But tell us a little bit about that journey, like from the video to the actual like podcast format, and specifically specifically in regards to LinkedIn, because it's available on other channels and stuff like YouTube. We're going to show a clip from your YouTube here pretty soon, but for me, for this podcast, Nimdzi Live, LinkedIn has been where it's at. Like, we don't get a lot of views on YouTube or Facebook and all of that stuff, but LinkedIn is heavy engagement. So talk to me a little bit about that.
Okay, so the first video I recorded was in August 2020, and it was for a new project of mine. The actual idea, or should I say a nudge, was after I read the book Content-Based Networking by James Carberry, if I'm not mistaken. And this is the book that actually sells the idea that you should podcast and bring in guests that you want to have as clients. So that gave me an idea. Okay, so if I want to start a new project, that was a project related to business training. We are working on a new online database or online catalog of business training offers.
Okay.
So that, like any new startup, I wanted to engage people before I start selling anything. And what better way to do it than video? I mean, this was something of a revelation to me that I would be good with video. I never recorded any video ever. And I've been a content writer for my entire life, for like 20 years. And I just wanted to experiment. I told myself, let's try this. If I
Yeah.
don't like it, I can drop it. Nothing's going to happen, right?
Yeah.
And I loved it instantly. And that was a huge surprise for me. So I recorded like 6 episodes. And then I realized that I know nothing. I mean, I have to say, I don't know anything about editing video. It's hard. It's time consuming.
There's a learning curve.
Oh my God. Yeah.
There's a learning curve.
So I discovered that live video with technology, especially software that exists, it's easier,
Right.
it's nicer.
That's what people don't get. Like, if people ask me, like, dude, I've been doing videos for a long time, but I haven't gotten into the live thing yet. I'm afraid to get into the live thing. And I'm like, dude, secret, it's a lot easier than record because the expectations are different. Right? If I'm watching a recorded video, my expectations is that it's highly edited and high value per minute ratio. Right? Like, I want facts, I want stuff, I want to watch a 10-minute video and get what I need. Right? And that takes a lot of time to put together. But a live stream or a podcast, it's a different listening. environment. You know, people are listening passively. They're listening while they're on walks or while they're driving. Yesterday, I just got done driving for 14 hours. Thank God for podcasts, is all I can say. Right?
Exactly. Exactly. That's my experience as well. Especially live video gives you something that podcasts, audio, recorded podcasts, and recorded videos cannot give you, and that's live interaction with people.
Yes.
So my audience is already used to me going live at exact times. That's Mondays at noon. I'm still experimenting with the best time slot, but this is it for the time being. And they will, uh, grab a cup of coffee and just listen to me. They will comment. They will, do jokes together. It's always a part of the audience that already knows me, and sometimes, of course, it's new people. So that's the live interaction is something that I love about live video the most. And I wouldn't change it for the recorded part. Of course, I know I would have to record videos for LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Short videos, maybe they work best, especially if they have subtitles,
Yep.
they have
Yep.
engagement. But
Or
live
on-screen
video
text.
is
So with recorded videos, it's all about, stopping the scroll is what I say,
exactly.
right? You're scrolling through LinkedIn on your phone and say, oh, and they stop because they see something, and they stop when they see faces. They stop when they see big text and everything, because that's one of the disadvantages of especially long form audio and video content. Longer than 10 minutes. One of the disadvantages is it's not very skimmable, right? Like I can take 100-page document and just scan it, and in 10 minutes, like, okay, I kind of get it. You can't really do that with video. Sure, you can play it at 2 times speed. You can skip around. You can add chapters to your YouTube and stuff like that. But it's a commitment. You kind of have to sit down and watch it, right?
Yeah, but I do have ways to go around this,
Ooh,
the
do tell.
length problem.
Do
Yeah,
tell.
I have virtual assistants who help me with repurposing and with creating the table of contents for YouTube. So after my video is recorded, they take it. They take the video and just create a table of contents with 20 points, so people can skip to the parts they only want to see later in the recording. So that's a very nice thing to do. If I had more
Are,
resources, I would do it
are
for
are
all
you
my shows.
are you hiring them full time? Do they have bandwidth? Can I can I get their names? Because that
Yes,
sounds
yes,
marvelous. Because one of the
yes.
things I do with this is, so for those of you out there that are watching this, and I hope there are people watching this that are interested in getting into live streaming, because hear me and hear Visnja. This is not, it's not that big of a deal. Like we really recommend go out there, make a fool of yourself, right? Because that's what you think. You think like, oh, I'm going to make a fool of myself. And the way I think about that is, if I wake up today and I make a fool out of myself today, and that's the worst thing that happens to me, that's a pretty good day, right? So just go out there, be fearless, and do it. And the live streaming, like to your point, it's just so much easier than, well, it's not easier. It's different. It's different than the recording. But to your point, like the interaction with the guests, and one thing that we could be doing better here and will be doing better is going live at a regular time, ditching the whole pop-up component and all of that. Eventually, it is in the works, but the community of it, like to me, that's the difference between video and live is the community. And in my mind, and this is just me, but in my mind, a successful live stream is just the excuse for the community. And the community happens in the comments section with people, and that's what I'm working towards. Like I want to see Nimdzi live a year from now, 2 years from now, 3 years from now. It's just people showing up and bullshitting in the comments section, like hardly even listening to what's going on, right? We'll see if we get there. What do you think about
Exactly.
that though? Is
You
the
know,
community?
yes, the community is the best part. So when you have two people fighting over something, technical of technical nature in the comments, not with you, but between each other, then you know that you have a real community. So
Speaking of,
yeah,
you have a fan here because I don't think
okay.
it says LinkedIn user, which means you probably don't follow me or Nimdzi. So Follow me and Nimdzi. No. But
Yeah, it's actually, I have to tell you, I'm on LinkedIn. I follow your feed on LinkedIn. So it's my virtual assistant. Hey, Sanya. So she's my top secret. I will
hey,
have to tell you
Sonia, I've
about
got a
it.
job for you.
Yes.
You want to come edit Nimdzi videos? She says, Visnja's live videos are so good and educational, you don't even want to skip parts. No skimming. She must have heard us talking about skimming. Well, that's a
Yeah.
perfect introduction there for. Let's check this out. This is an intro video from YouTube, and I'll put the link in the
Hi,
description.
my name is Visnja, and I'm the co-founder of Logit.net, an EU-based digital marketing consultancy. Are you looking to improve your business website so that more customers would contact you? One of the ways you can achieve that is by identifying and eliminating the flaws in content and architecture of your website. Let me show you 3 ways how Logit can help. First, visit our learning center where you can find articles, presentations, and downloads on the topic of business website improvement. It's totally free. Next, check out our digital products such as ebooks, templates, and reports, which are great if you're the do-it-yourself kind of person. And finally, you can hire us to find and fix the flaws in your website for you. Explore Logit.net now and get results from your business website.
That's just your intro video to the YouTube channel. So, but that doesn't talk about the podcast much. But what I like
Yeah.
about this, because you mentioned this earlier, is that you started it as kind of an excuse, an idea to talk to potential clients, and it was very successful. You started getting leads from it, and that is a huge thing to me. From I run a business like you, and don't do anything for free, and it's like, well, I've got this podcast, so it's like this great excuse to open conversations and open doors with people who otherwise may not be interested in talking to you. Because let's face it, we're all egotists, right? We all want to see ourselves on a YouTube live stream. So people tend to say yes on that, and it started. And I was just talking this morning. It's like after the podcast, like, oh, like now we have a relationship. Like now we can do this, and so when you ask me about using the podcast as a tool to sell, I say yes, because everything can be used as a tool to sell. And by sell, I mean add value. I mean find solutions. I don't just mean like try to close business and be a used car salesman. It's what Michael Stevens and I were just talking about in our last live stream. But I mean it, use it as an excuse to build relationships. You don't sell. You don't sell before the podcast. You don't sell right after the podcast. You use it to build relationships. And so much of selling to me, so much of, I don't even want to use that word selling, so much of growing a business, respect, and all of that is all about the relationships, right? What are some of the relationships that have you come across anybody that you crossed paths with people? Well, me, for example, that's a great example. Who else have you met as a direct result of what you're doing with video?
Okay, so my strategy that like I said, I learned it in the book, Content-Based Networking, is to create content together with other people I want to meet. So instead of going there and pitching them anything of my services or my clients' services, because sometimes I want to connect people, I just go there and say, listen, I have this podcast, videocast, whatever. Let's just not call it webinar.
We need a
People
word.
call
Let's
it,
agree right now. Videocast. Videocast.
I guess,
Yeah.
let's call it
I'm not
videocast.
crazy about it, but
Nah,
okay.
yeah.
For now.
So let's create content together. I want to interview you. You are a subject matter expert, and I have an interesting set of ideas to discuss with you. And people usually, like you said, say yes because it's an ego thing. And although not many people want to see themselves on video,
That's
because
true.
most
That's true.
people are so scared of video. We really have to get over ourselves to go on someone's live show, especially if it's live. So I was introduced to people who are my potential clients for both my video casts. I was introduced to clients of my clients, people were recommended to me. I think this is a great person to talk to. And we just talked. We just, created content together. I
Yeah.
met people who provide services to me. LinkedIn is a huge place. Actually, my number one social channel, maybe number one channel at this moment.
Yeah, at the
Where,
moment, it's same here at Nimdzi, same
yeah,
here at Multilingual. I remember back in the day, I would have told you Twitter was the social channel of our industry, but nowadays, I think it's LinkedIn by far.
definitely, because what live stream, what live stream provides you with. So sometimes we're in an industry that is, sometimes it's a race to the bottom with prices, with
Sometimes.
erosion of, yeah, mostly. So when your competitors are dumping prices and maybe eroding the, I don't know, the how should I put it, the image of the industry, you can use LinkedIn and you can use live stream to appear, to come to go to the in front of your audience and simply be yourself, because I believe the B2B trends are pointing toward being authentic, and everybody hates this word, authentic.
I
What does that even
love this
mean?
word. If anyone has listened to any of I talk about authenticity like
Yeah,
every
but
time
what
I go
does it
live.
mean? Let's unpack this. So authentic is being yourself, not being afraid, being able and being willing to talk about, just a normal day life in your career. So I go on LinkedIn to share my professional life. It can be a live stream about strategic digital marketing. Doesn't matter. It can be a blog post about the practices of hiring in my industry. It can be anything. It can be a last photo from a meetup we held locally when we finally got together, to meet in person. So uh, these are the moments that people right now can use on LinkedIn, but only if we all show up. I always like to say that LinkedIn at the moment is this is the golden age of LinkedIn. Remember, Tucker, when Facebook was like organic reach was huge. You can
Yeah.
post anything, and most of your audience would see actually what you post.
Yeah, nowadays,
So
unless you're throwing money at it, no one's seeing anything.
exactly.
But you know
So
what? LinkedIn's becoming kind of like that too. So LinkedIn is becoming like that very much for brands, for company pages. So like if I make a post on Nimdzi, not that many people are going to see it unless we sponsor it and post it. Where LinkedIn really, 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 and this is my observation. I don't have the data. I don't know the algorithms, right? But LinkedIn really, really, really likes individual contributors, right? Individual contributions. And that's why, like, when I'm out commenting and stuff, and this is a big conversation we're having here at Nimdzi right now, is how should our brand interact with people? Like, it's social network, it's social, right? So why is Nimdzi just posting stuff and then leaving it and posting stuff and then leaving it and hoping people comment on it when we're not commenting on it, when we're not responding to comments, right? And that's a big conversation that we're having here at Nimdzi right now. And the answer is, well, Nimdzi employees go, like, we go comment on it. But, yeah, we haven't really figured that out yet. Just being fully transparent.
yeah, I can tell you, I don't have it figured out for myself. For example, I treat my company's LinkedIn profile as a blog post, as an outlet
Yeah.
to share news and,
Like an archive.
let's say, major stuff.
Yeah.
Just to be there if somebody checks out the company, wants to see what we're about. But the bulk of all the interaction happens between personal profiles. So
Yeah.
you will see that people want to talk to people. I don't want to talk to logos. I don't know who's behind the logo. It's probably some paid social media manager or somebody from the company who may not want to be at that job to manage the company profile. But I usually know when a personal profile is that person themselves.
Yeah.
You can see it.
Yeah.
That's the authenticity part that we talked about.
Yeah.
So maybe you can fake it, but if you know that person in person, then you know it's not fake. So I would, what I would do, I would call, all hands meeting and say, okay, people, this LinkedIn stuff, it's really hot right now. You just have to show up, and everything you post, if it's thoughtful, it's gonna get exposure. It's gonna get views and applause or engagement. So let's share our professional lives, and let's not try to do it strategically when we still don't know
Right.
what we're doing.
Right.
Let's just be there with people. Do you go strategically to meetups? No, you just want to have a beer with your peers,
So
or you just want to meet new people.
I
Not always.
yeah, I feel that very much because, I've got a responsibility to grow my company and pay my employees. We're not a charity. So I need to go in, and this is why we go into events to sell, to evangelize, and do all of these things. But I've been really watching myself, trying to like self-monitor of while I'm interacting with another human being. Because that's what I'm doing, another human being. Am I connecting with them on a human level first, or am I just trying to manipulate myself into a sales conversation?
Yep.
And if I can't answer in the affirmative on that first one, then I need to check myself. And like the human reason for that is simply because, well, I don't want to be a dick, right? I don't want to be that guy that's just worried about money and not worried about people. That's the human level. But, for those of us that are less human than we used to be, there's also a business reason. And that's simply because people can smell inauthenticity a mile away. Maybe back in the day. Remember, 2-3 years ago when you'd call in to a client meeting or something and there was always this question of like, are they going to turn on the webcams? Because if the client turns on the webcam, then I have to turn on my webcam. Nowadays, everybody turns on the webcam, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Resolution is getting better. Sound quality is getting better. What all of this means is it's harder and harder to hide authenticity.
Exactly. And people who dare right now will be years ahead everybody else who has to go through that learning curve. First we have to get over ourselves to appear in front of a camera, then we have to master technology, because we don't know how to buy a camera.
To which can I
We
just
don't know.
say, like,
Yeah.
if this ugly face can go live in front of a camera, you can too. I don't know who I'm talking to, but I'm pointing at you out there.
Yeah, exactly. And
And
I
that's
can.
why I named this. I don't know. I'll run the intro reel here, but I originally named this when I first started going live. You can! Exclamation point! Right?
Exactly.
Because I didn't want this to. I didn't want a podcast. I really didn't want one. I did not want my face out there. But I want to encourage other people to do it. And how do you encourage other people to do something? You lead by example, right? So
Exactly.
if this live cast, wait, what do we call it? Video cast. If this video cast is around in 2 or 3 years, I'm hoping that it's not going to be my face up here. It's going to be other new industry leaders out there.
Exactly. Exactly. And there are shows that are taking on new people who do not necessarily have to be employees. They're creating little syndications between content creators. I can see that this will, like creating a media network. You need other hosts. You can't do everything yourself. So
I
for example,
I have a
I
media
mentioned,
network. It's multilingual, right? And we're doing that. That's what we're trying to turn multilingual into. Not trying. That's what Mario Line over at Multilingual is leading multilingual into. Her and Michael, the editor and everything, with multilingual TV. But we have like, I don't even know the word, like syndicated shows. We have Juanma Lopez, who was just on the show last week. He's doing the TEP, which is TEP, our first Spanish language show, and it's published via multilingual TV, which is it's
that's awesome.
just a YouTube channel, but it's I'm very interested to see what this grows into, and I'm very interested in using the platform that we have through Nimdzi and through Multilingual Magazine to move the industry into this new format, right? And this is an ambitious goal. Some would say it's an arrogant goal, but I say it's an ambitious goal. But I want to kill the webinar.
Exactly.
I want to
Because
kill the webinar. Webinars are,
it's that they're just, they serve their purpose,
yeah.
but
They
when
collect leads. Whenever I ask people like, why are you still doing webinars? the only answer I get, and hey, this is me too. Whenever I ask myself why we're still doing it, because hey, Nimdzi does webinars. Go sign out, check it out, nimdzi.com webinars. But the only good answer, solid answer I can get, and it's not a good answer, is because that way we can collect leads. Because in order to sign up for a webinar, you need the lead form. And in my mind, going back to the previous thing, am I having this conversation with a human being, or am I trying to manipulate people so I can sell to them? And in my mind, lead collection is not, it's not a user focused thing, right? It's not a good reason to have webinars. So I don't know. That's just my thoughts. Obviously, my thoughts are still evolving on this subject, but that's why I'm going live like 6 times a week, because I'm like, no, I want to flood the market, because if I can get, if you, me, some other people out there can start building out live streams and stuff, why would anyone ever need to sign up for a webinar? They could just
Yeah.
go over to LinkedIn and say, hey, who's streaming today?
Exactly. And for example, tomorrow I have an early morning call with a client who decided to go live. They
Nice.
did a first video and they want to go live because they want to be online. They want to be with the customers because their customers are fully on LinkedIn. They're building their reseller network, and they're interested in live. And a webinar is, why would you like put a gateway if you want the
Right.
biggest reach with video? Let's just do the live. I think that live is coming. People just don't know the tools yet.
Yeah.
All they know is Zoom.
The tools are hard.
Yeah.
The
I
tools are
mean,
hard. Yeah.
but companies like Restream, StreamYard, and others that are making, all-in-one packages are making it really easier. I'm just waiting for the big networks like LinkedIn and Facebook to increase the video quality, because only YouTube gives you full HD. Everything else is low quality. For example, I'm using Google Meet to talk to you, and it just
Yeah.
won't give you full HD
No,
quality.
it's
And
720p is the best you can
yeah,
do for
yeah.
hope for.
So
But
it's okay-ish, but
ISPs, internet service providers, and like folks like Google Meet, like they need to catch up, and they will. Like if Google doesn't have a full HD option within the next year, and like NDI support, and like high quality audio, and like all of these other things that you don't need for streaming, but would be nice to have, I would be very surprised if they didn't have those other things.
Facebook has announced that they still have this beta program where they allow certain content creators to full HD, but this is not available to me. This is
Well,
not available to almost anyone, but
that's the
it's
problem
coming.
with the platforms, and by platforms I mean the social networks, the LinkedIn's and Facebooks and whatnot. They come out with these things to support live, because I think they understand that live streaming is the next big thing too. But all of these things are tied to their platform. They don't want you multi-streaming like what I do, right, on
Yeah.
multiple platforms. So if you want to take advantage of the cool live things on Facebook, you have to stream on Facebook. And then period, like not all of the other things. And my suspicion is that will change. Because the market's not going to like that. The market's not, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly. Because people will, you just, I mean, if you're a business owner, if you're a leader, you have employees, you have to take care of the company. Can you really, spend like hours
And we got to get to the comments
editing
here,
video?
Visnja, to
Yeah.
remind me. I'm sorry. No, finish your thing. I just keep forgetting.
Yeah, no problem. I just wanted to say, live video is going to get discovered, and people will, when the tools get better and when you have everything all in one, people will discover it. They will abandon webinars for the purpose that webinars are not used for. They're great for lead generation, but only if you actually plan to, to pick up the phone and email and call these people, close those leads. What are you going to do with those emails
Yeah,
if you're not going to follow up on them? So
exactly.
people in Croatia, they use webinars just because they don't know something else exists. And I'm very interested in teaching the market. This is why I stream. People are talking to me. People are coming to me to ask questions about live streaming, and I'm very happy about it.
Well, it says here,
Now,
LinkedIn user, Visnja is a pioneer in Croatia and the Balkan region in creating live streams and educational videos.
flatterer.
And, well, Flatter, That's a big deal because I mean, if we have folks listening out here in that region, it doesn't even matter that region is, man, don't teach yourself, right? Like we said it was easy, and it is, but there can be a learning curve, right? And sometimes it just really helps to have someone else to hold your hand through that initial step, right?
Exactly.
And yeah, I'm imagining it's okay if I'm telling people to reach out to you if they need help
Sure,
with
no,
that.
no problem.
Yeah.
I'm so psyched about live streaming that, I will talk to anybody who asks. And
Yeah.
sure, people just come to me. I already have a checklist before I go live. This is actually how Tucker and I met.
That's what I was
Yeah,
trying to remember how I found you. And
yeah.
as you were talking, I was like, oh, yeah, that's how I found you. So Visnja has this checklist, and this will save you. I think I immediately messaged her on LinkedIn, and I said, oh my gosh, I wish I had this when I first started doing it, because this would have saved me a lot of learning by example. But she has this checklist. It's available on LinkedIn. So how you find it is you go to her profile, and then you go down to articles that she's written. It's a LinkedIn article. And yeah, man, it is just great. Like all of the little things that it's like a pre-flight checklist for a pilot who's about to take off and fly across an ocean. Is you sit down like, okay, check your sound levels, make sure your internet's working. That's a big one. Like I just installed new internet. I installed fiber because I was tired of my live streams crashing.
Okay.
Block devices, pause Google Drive from sync. Yeah, that's a big one. Pause Google Drive from syncing. Because I used to have files uploading to Google Drive, syncing to my PC while I was live, and it was messing up my bandwidth. So all of these little things are things that I did learn myself. I did not need Visnja's list here, but oh my god, I wish I had it so I didn't have to learn myself.
Oh, Tucker, I can tell you so many times I wish I had that list because a friend had to tell me, oh, you don't know that when you restart your Windows, then your Wi-Fi may not always work or something. No, when Windows auto updates, Wi-Fi goes down. So
Yeah.
that killed a stream or two for me. And I don't wish that to anybody, especially when you're not you're not an improviser, a natural improviser. I've learned myself to become one, but
That's a really good point though, because I would make the argument that natural improvisers. I want to dispel the myth of the natural improviser, right? Because I think that you can learn to be a natural improviser, and I think people think, oh, I can never do that because that's just not who I am. And you can learn how to do like what we do, right? You can learn how to do it, but there's a catch. And that catch is the way to learn it is by doing it. So the thing about live streaming is like, sure, you can practice in front of a mirror. Like you can pre-recording videos is a good intro. It's like, playing with the training wheels. It's riding your bike with the training wheels on. But in order to actually learn how to ride the bike, you need to ride the bike. And it's no different with live streaming. And I think some people might get discouraged because the first time you go live, you're probably not going to have that many people watching you. Right? Maybe like 1,
yeah.
2, or 3, or 0. And I've streamed to audiences of 0 before, I'm sure. And you have to not care about that. Like, that's not what it's about. Because remember, you're not manipulating people. You're not getting leads. What you're doing is you're adding value. And you can't control if people come and take that value. But all you can do is yourself. So
I have a trick that actually works for this part, streaming to 0 people, especially if you use LinkedIn. If you create an event on LinkedIn and manually invite person by person who are already connected to you, many of those people will actually show up and you'll see your numbers go up. Of course, not everybody will come, but
and
that's a good
this
trick.
is why I want to move away from. I've been experimenting with that too, and this is why I want to move away from the pop-up. Because, as I said, the pop-up was an excuse to not plan. Right?
I know.
But this is episode 30, I think. It's time that we start planning here. Let's get to the comments, though. I see some new folks in here. Renee Brackus. Question for Visnja. You are sharing so much of your knowledge and expertise for free on your live streams. It seems like you are giving away 90% of your know-how. How do you feel about the other people in the industry that are hiding their secrets and tricks of the trade? This is a
Yeah,
juicy one to answer. If
exactly. And I want a big shout out to my friend Rene who asked the question. He's the co-host of the third show that we run together. He's been a great support. So how do I feel about everybody who is not sharing their knowledge? People have this I don't know this idea that others are only interested in knowledge and ideas, that people want to steal your secrets and do the work themselves. But the actual, the truth is that not everybody wants to do things themselves because they don't have the time. So live video in general, and being authentic on social media helps clients separate the wheat from the chaff. Who actually knows what they're saying? Who actually has the expertise? And they just want to, they want the shortcut. Just give me the person who can do this, who can do it for myself. I don't want to do the work myself. Let them do it for me, or let them teach my team how to do it for us, for my company. So when I share my knowledge and everything I know, I actually show people exactly what I do. I give them my tools of the trade. I give them for free sometimes for everybody to download, because it's not a secret. I don't want to keep it for myself, because it doesn't matter. What
right,
matters is I use my live streaming to get to know more people, get to know more clients, to network with potential clients who actually need me. So this is a service for everybody. I am enabling people to find me because they are looking for people like me. And if you are a professional, for example, if you're an LSP, an owner of an LSP, or a language professional, people are looking for you. They just don't know that you're the right person for them.
yeah, they just don't know how to find you. Right? It's
Yeah,
like they're looking
exactly.
for you, they just don't know how to find you.
Yeah.
So help
So,
them, and this can apply to live streams. This can apply to anything on LinkedIn. Like I'm big on your LinkedIn profile is your window to the world. So if you're not fully taking advantage, and LinkedIn's pushing out new features every quarter, right? If you're not fully taking advantage of the features on LinkedIn to update your profile, make sure that it's professional, make sure that it's easily scannable, and your best work is highlighted, then you're missing out. You're missing out,
yeah.
right? I talk to people, oh, I've sent 100 resumes, I've applied for 100 jobs. Well, why don't we take a look at your LinkedIn profile? Oh, I don't want to update my LinkedIn profile. Okay, keep sending
Yeah.
resumes. Keep sending
Yeah,
resumes,
exactly.
right?
Don't leave any digital trace. Don't be social. Don't be Googleable. I mean,
I talk to
if I
people
was,
who don't want to be found,
yeah,
right? And
sometimes they don't. Yeah,
that's okay. It's a personal choice. Like if you're listening and you're one of those, then that's okay. I respect your bad decisions. But joking aside, like my question to you would be, what about 20 years from now? What about 10 years
okay.
from now, right? Because the world is obviously moving in that direction. So if you can't be found, then you can't be hired, you can't be congratulated, you can't be celebrated. And suppose if those things aren't important, I guess it's okay.
Exactly. And what do we know what the world would look like in 20 years? They're always saying in the news that there are jobs that the generation that comes after us will do that we can't even imagine, let alone
Yeah.
spell or
Hmm.
plan for. So sometimes we in the tech community we joke that, oh, when we get tired of this technology and IT stuff, we're just going to go, we're going to plow the field or take care of the sheep,
Right.
herd the sheep when
Right.
we're really tired of this work. And sometimes people do that, really. And when we go there, we're going to need technology. We're going to have to be findable, and people be uh, will have to trust us, that we're people of trust, of authority, no
Right.
matter what we do, what we choose to do. So I'm choosing to leave a digital trace, a digital footprint, in a way that's fun. I love teaching. I love sharing my knowledge. I discovered video. I used to write content like blog posts and stuff. And I don't know, maybe in 10 years we'll do virtual reality.
Virtual
Well,
real augmented.
yeah,
That I was thinking the same thing. I was like, okay, because here at Nimdzi, we're always like, okay, let's do the new thing. Like when
yeah,
Clubhouse came out, I was all about Clubhouse until I realized Clubhouse was dying, and then I was like, okay. But
yeah,
I don't regret that decision because you have to. You have to. Not everything that you check out is going to be the next Facebook, right? But you have to do it. So, I asked myself the question 3 years from now, if my mission has succeeded, then everybody in the industry is going to be doing live streaming. Webinars are going to be dead and buried. Okay, what then? Right? Because if everyone's doing it, I'm going to get bored with it. So are we going to be doing virtual reality? Are we going to, I don't know. I don't know, but that excites me.
yeah, exactly. You have to be at the front of every technology. I mean, it has to be fun. I'm not that kind of person that would say, "Oh, you gotta be on TikTok right now. This is the hot stuff."
Yeah.
Clubhouse, whatever comes after Clubhouse. I know I can't speak for every company. I'm a small company. There's just two of us in the company, although we've been in the business for 20 years. But
You're an optimized. You have optimized operations. You're an efficient. You're not
exactly.
small, you're efficient.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I have optimized for my type of lifestyle
There you
for
go.
maximum freedom and enjoyment. So
That sounds
this is
much
not for
better. That
everybody.
sounds much better than I'm a small
Yeah.
company.
So I choose to do stuff that's fun while I still can. I had a larger
Yeah.
team. I had employees, and I don't know how I would stream a show 10 years in my past. I barely had the time to to close the deals. I was in sales. I was in marketing. I was in charge of everything. Of getting toilet paper for the office.
Yeah.
Everything you have to do as a small company. So I have the time, so I live stream and I love it. And I would recommend to everybody to experiment with stuff that scares you and excites you at the same moment, because that's the sweet spot. That's where the most growth lies, and maybe the biggest source of leads. Let's see.
Visnja, you're like my twin. It's like saying all of the stuff that I
Yeah,
usually say. You're stealing all of my lines, but
yeah.
I love it. I think
Thanks.
I think we're good. We're caught up on the comments. Thank you everybody who's been joining in the comments. We're coming up. We've passed the 45-minute mark. That's usually my sweet spot. I have one last idea that's come to me on
Yep.
this stream though. Is I've been joining a lot of local lunches. Are you involved in local lunches at all? Have you gone to those?
To what? I'm sorry.
Local lunch.
What's that?
So Local Lunch is they have chapters all around the world, and it started pre-pandemic where it was very local. So like Miami Local Lunch chapter would meet once a month, and they'd have lunch, and everyone buys their own lunch, and maybe there's a speaker, maybe there's a topic, whatever. But it was a very kind of decentralized, kind of like the women in localization model, where it's like one organization. But when they went remote, they've been having virtual local lunches, which is super cool to me because it's a nice mix between the local and the global, because they are tied to specific locations, but they're open for everybody. And I've just been joining those like crazy. I was just on Local Lunch Monterey. Um, Last week I was in Local Lunch. I don't know. It doesn't matter. But where was I going with this? Oh, one of the local lunches, people were asking and said, Tucker, because they see me streaming, and they said, Tucker, you need to teach us how to do that. And I said, okay, I'll do a workshop. And, free workshop, open to everybody, blah, blah, blah. But that was a week and a half ago, and I haven't done anything on it. And I just had a flash thought. You and I should do a workshop together.
Oh, wow.
That would be
I'm
cool.
open for it. That would be totally cool.
All right, well,
Yeah.
we said it live on air, so it's on the record now. But
Yeah.
let's not this week because I just got done traveling back from California and I am way behind on LinkedIn messages, emails, and everything.
Okay.
But let's do that, Visnja. That would be
Yeah.
fun. Maybe next week we can start collaborating. We can put together something.
Sure.
And basically, the outline's already done. It's your list, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
I have more than one list. There are at least two more links at the bottom of this post that I took from my colleagues who also stream. So
ooh,
it's like a list. Yeah, from Christina and from Rene. Rene also streams. So they had other types of posts like you should relax, you should don't drink sodas, don't, not the techie part. Yeah. So this is one of the guests on my show, and it's in Croatian, but we can compile a list. It sounds like a hell yeah idea. Do you know the concept by Derek Sivers? If you
No,
know
but
the
I
guy.
like it. Tell me about it.
Yeah. Yeah, he tells there's only two. If somebody asks you a question or proposes something, then it's either hell yeah or no. If it's not hell yeah, it's no automatically.
Yeah,
If the idea excites you,
that makes
then
sense.
you should probably do it.
Yeah, so if I'm getting a hell yeah from you, then
Yeah,
we'll do it. Awesome.
sure. Sure, let's do this.
All
Let's
right,
do this.
all right, ladies and gentlemen, you heard it here first on Nimdzi Live. We will be doing a workshop, and so if this is something that you guys want to do, and trust me, if we can do it, you can do it, right? So if it's something
Sure.
that you're interested in educating yourself about, or maybe you're a marketing manager and you'd like to see your brand start doing live interaction, you'd like to kill the webinar, then sign up. We'll be posting stuff about that soon.
Yep.
Any
That's awesome.
final thoughts before we get out of here, Visnja?
Well, I would tell people to just let themselves fail, experiment, and have fun with everything they do in content marketing, because these things take you so much further that you can actually imagine right now. So I would never dream that I would be a live streamer, that I would love video, that I would not hate my voice. It's only for the first 5 episodes, and after that, you get used to everything. So experiment, people. It's great fun.
Hear, hear. I have nothing to add. For once, I'm speechless. Thank you very much, Visnja. I look forward to collaborating with you and chit chat with you right after the stream. But for those of you guys on the stream, thank you very much for joining. Very active comment section. Make sure to like and subscribe to Nimdzi Insights. If you want updates to these, you can visit us at nimdzi.com. Logit. I'm sorry, do you pronounce Logit?
It's Logit.
Logit is, I thought I had the website pulled up, but I don't. It's logit.com.
.net.
.net, logit.net, and
Yep.
YouTube channel is linked in the description if you want to go check out the podcast there. Thank you very much, Visnja, and we'll see you guys next time. Until then.
Thank you. Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you.